What's up, guys? So we're here with a big Rust update. I'm on our dev branch server, and what is this? Those awesome Radtowns that they've been talking about making on the Dungeons branch have finally been merged. Now, there's still gray box, as you can see, but they want us to play around with them, give them our opinions, and see what we think of the first versions of them. Now, as of right now, you cannot build in them. They are just like monuments. I like the idea of not being able to block them off, but I also feel like people should actually be able to build in them, because, I mean, otherwise, what's the point of these awesome towns if you can't, like, take it over and defend it kind of thing? So, definitely kind of hope that changes in the future. But for now, we're going to take a little look here and explore them. I think, yeah, these ladders actually work, which is cool. So if you can boost up here, you can actually get up onto the roof. There's loot crates all around. Obviously, this is crap loot because it's vanilla. But this is the first down here. It is the, like, nuclear power plant kind of setup. It's kind of like a mix of different factories, which is kind of weird. But you can get up inside of all these things. You can go around here, drop back and down. You can, I mean, there's stairwells. There's these little silos everywhere. You can drop down, shoot at people. You can, you know, there's collapsed parts to get up onto roofs and stuff. It's just really, really cool. Something that we need in Rust. They just need to do something interesting with them. Have special enemy types in here. You know, just do something. And a lot of these have railroads that pass through them. So eventually, I think the railroads will connect to each other, whether it's above ground or below. But they do eventually kind of end off on their own, like that one did there. This one, I think, goes around in a circle around the Radtown. The cool thing is everything kind of connects, and a lot of these ones have, here's a food crate, which is kind of cool. They have resources and stuff in them, which look really weird compared to the gray boxes, of course. This one has a pump jack built in, so that's going to be something people are going to want to, you know, use and defend, I guess. But again, how are you going to defend it that well if you can't really block in this area? So it's going to be very interesting. But you can actually crawl into these sewers. And they go out into different areas. Some of them end in ladders you can climb out of. And some of them go on for quite a bit. So what we're going to do is kind of go onto the map, and you can kind of see, like, the layout here. So here's where all the tunnels kind of connect underneath. All of these connect. You can actually climb to the top of this silo, collect some loot up here, and then drop down this hole. And this hole actually goes into, like, a little escape tunnel. So there's lots of cool gunplay that can be done in these here. It's definitely something I look forward to. And it's just really great to see this. And now these Radtowns have replaced the previous prefab Radtowns. Those were just placeholders, like they always said. All of those are gone. The airport is still here. They also still have the little warehouses that had, like, either that had, like, a quarry next to them. Those are still there. And I assume they left lighthouses, but I can't find one on this map. So maybe they're redoing them. I know the stairs were kind of wonky and the proportions were off, so maybe they're doing them better, or they just decide to entirely remove them. I don't know. Or it's just the seed and they're actually still there. So we'll have to see tomorrow when it actually goes live. Yeah, these Radtowns are awesome. They're all interconnected with towns. I kind of like this map because, like, the power plant is kind of on its own little landmass, which I thought was neat. So this is kind of looking at it here from above. Much, much better than those crappy little prefabs, and you have to kind of, like, explore them to figure out where the loot is. And I've noticed they spawn in different areas, which is really neat. So they're not always going to be in the exact same spot every respawn, but it will be the same spot. So eventually you could learn where they're going to be spawning in the different areas. But a lot of them are in a ladder or through a pipe, so you kind of have to put some effort into it. You know, not a lot of effort, but thought that was cool. The other thing they did, besides adding the 5 new Radtowns, or dungeons, they spiffed up the satellite dish, and it's now this big wreckage of, like, satellites. So, you know, there's this crushed one here, you can go inside, there's barrels all around, you've got some little sheds set up here, which is really cool. And there goes my phone. And you just got this. So the regular satellite dish is in the center, then you've got kind of like a messed up, decrepit one here. You know, this one's covered all in dirt, but if you go under here, you can see it's still a satellite. Definitely really cool. And then for this seat, right next to it, we ended up with the water treatment plant. So let's get like a aerial view here. So here's the water treatment plant. You can see all the little pools and everything. It's pretty cool. And basically, it's kind of, honestly, this when I look at this one, I'm like, man, this would make a really cool skate park. But it's just a bunch of tunnels, basically. You've got some buildings you can go into with ladders. There's, you know, research and repair tables in here. We've got some cars scattered about. It's definitely really cool. We got some of these little silos set up. You can go into this one. There's loot crates. That one always seems to have 3, so that's a good little spot. You've got these little manholes you can go down and under. A lot of things are busted open and broken. And if you go under the map, you can see it's just this mess of tunnels, which is really cool. That just kind of connects it all. Again, really, really cool setup here. These Radtowns are pretty awesome. I'm going to go ahead and float on over to the next one. And they're all connected to the road, which is nice. So we're going to head on over here, and you can already see the tower. This one's definitely cool. So it starts over here. You've got a little bit of wreckage with some interconnected stuff, and this is the train yard. So you've got your tracks coming through here. You've got train carts sitting around. There's this little silo you can climb to the top of. Sometimes there is loot up on here. I think, yeah, there it is. It's inside. And there's lots of little buildings around. This one has a refinery in it, and there's lots of cool little buildings here. You've got some little generators sitting around, and I hope one day, like, this is something, a strong point you can take, and you could use these generators. I mean, that would be absolutely awesome. And this one does have a start of like a regular sewer, which is really cool. And so this one's got water in it and stuff. You can go up in here, goes into one of these little pools and more tunnels, so you can kind of see again. This one's got a couple little tunnels and stuff below it, and I think eventually they hope to connect a lot of these Radtowns underground, which is cool, and like through the rails. There's also a pump shack here, so this is just like a step in the right direction. It's definitely really, really cool, and I'm excited to see these get finished and implemented fully, and how they go with it. Now, the last Radtown's kind of far away, so I think I'm going to go ahead and cut, and we'll take a look at it then. Okay, so we're here at this last one now, and as you can see, it's gotten pretty foggy. But this is kind of like a underpass, but there's also like a factory kind of going on here, and you can actually get up in all of this here and travel along. Again, you can see the trains connect into it here, which is cool. So again, that kind of shows like the train yards are all going to connect to each other. There's a couple of sheds outside with barrel spawns, and then as you can see, there's a whole mess of tunnels under here, and they connect actually to rooms, and these rooms have loot crates in them, so they're all lit. I'm not sure if they're going to put NPCs in here. That'd be really cool if they did. But you've got all these little rooms and stuff, and they all connect into this one big collapsed tunnel. There's a couple cars scattered about in here, and train carts. All the some of the lights turn on in there as well. So this is just really cool how they've got all this started. And if you actually go under here, you can see that there's quite a bit of rooms. These over here actually connect from an outside tunnel, so there's an outside way to get in, which is neat. And yeah, so it's I don't know about you guys, I'm really excited to play around with these, see how people use them, and I'm just altogether glad to see they're finally doing something with the map. Other changes they've done, there's a lot more flat, but they've done like hills. Like, look at this tiered area, is kind of really nice. But there's a lot of flat areas in between, and then there's bigger hills this way. It just kind of seems like a much smoother transition instead of being so blocky. There's definitely a lot better areas to build. Like, You know, there's some slants and stuff like that, but, you know, there's more valleys and flat areas to build bases, which I really appreciate. And they've also added plant life to the ocean. So if you scoot on in, you can see there's rocks, there's corals, there's seaweed, and stuff like that. So they've started their first touches on making the ocean kind of seem alive. And it's foggy right now, so it's hard to see, but if you kind of walk along shores, you can see there's stuff out in the water, and it's you know, it doesn't really do anything for the game, but it adds some nice stuff. And like this again, I said, you know, the smooth transitions, you can just see right here, it's just kind of smooths out, but it goes into this rocky hill, and it's just much nicer. I think this is some of the best terrain generation they've done for a while. There's also a lot of shallow, like, rivers with the grass in them. You got the reeds growing, and it kind of merges just nicely out into the ocean here. Just altogether, they've done a great job. But I think that's going to cut it now, guys. I appreciate you watching this video. I hope you're as excited for these Radtowns as I am. Like I said, just can't wait to see them put into the game. And if they add anything else to the game, I'll be sure to do a full update video about that. We will see you next time, guys. Thanks for watching.